Hey everybody, welcome back to A Taste of Manga. Tonight we're doing a subscriber recommendation, actually, a Patreon recommendation from my good friend J Chip from the J Chip Show, who also does anime and gaming videos, kind of a variety of stuff on his channel, J Chip Show. I'll have a link to that down below because you should check him out. He's a pretty cool guy. And he knows I'm not the hugest gamer in the world, and I think wisely he sent me something that he thought I would probably maybe have some interest in, and maybe it would get me intrigued. And I guess we're here today to find out if that actually worked. We're talking about Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, by Akira Himikawa, which I learned in doing a little bit of research is a pen name for a duo of manga artists, female manga artists, from Japan, obviously. So, little background on me with Zelda is that there basically is no background with me in Zelda. I have never played any Zelda game in my life for really any amount of time ever, I don't think. The most Zelda I ever played was a very small amount, I think, of freaking Link on the GameCube version of Soul Calibur at my friend's house for like 5 minutes. And I think that was about it. I know nothing really about Zelda besides I know his name's Link. I know the girl is Zelda. Before this, I knew that there was a Sheik person, and that the Triforce was a thing. And people really like the Triforce logo on hoodies and such. And I knew that he didn't talk. Whereas in this, he talks. So it was interesting. Maybe he does talk in the games and I'm just wrong, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't talk. I know he goes like, yeah, when he goes like, hit shit with his sword and stuff, but whatever. Ocarina of Time, I know it's a beloved game. So I was a little curious as to how good the manga would be. And overall, pretty good. I will say that. Some things that I enjoyed about it was it's a fairly interesting fantasy tale. Has pretty good pacing, I would say. It doesn't really ever feel like they're like wasting my time. Gas pedals hit pretty quickly with this. We meet our man Link. I don't know how accurately this goes with like the game. I don't know if they skip stuff or whatever. So if I'm missing context from the game, I'm sorry. I've never played the game in my life. But in the manga, you get this guy Link, and he's from this like tribe. He lives with this like tribe of like forest people, who don't age, I guess. They stay small like forever. Then there's this place called like Hyrule, where like the other people live, like they're other like elf people. That's where this princess girl named Zelda is from. He, of course, pretty much instantly falls in love with her. Basically, is the only person that acts like a normal friend to her and doesn't treat her like she's like the royalty that she is. Because he doesn't know anything. I should mention that there's this big ass tree in his village or whatever. And basically it gets corrupted by this evil force or whatever. I'm sure people know the Ocarina of Time story. It goes through this like pretty quickly. So there's this cool thing with the tree, and he makes this like shield out of like the tree's remains. Early on, Link seems like a fairly likable character. I will give him that. He is this little sort of like scrappy kid, fights with a slingshot at first, and he at first glance doesn't seem to be like all that strong, but he's a very passionate young man, I would say. He's very he's willing to go into the fight. He's not necessarily the best fighter at the beginning of this, but he's pretty loyal to his friends and his ideals, and I think that's pretty respectable. He does talk in this, as I mentioned, which kind of weirded me out, but I guess at the same time, you probably don't really want a manga character who doesn't talk at all. But he talks in this. He's a pretty like goofy, shonen-y protagonist kind of guy. Bit of a goody two-shoes, as it were. But fairly likable. And he basically, meets this princess girl Zelda, gets this crazy quest to find multiple stone things for this like Triforce kind of deal, and there's the bad guy Ganondorf, who I only knew from Smash, and I don't even play that much Smash, so there's that. I know even less about Ganondorf. I just knew he was the bad guy. There's this guy Ganondorf who his ideals aren't really like fleshed out all that much as to why he's doing bad things. He just kind of is for some reason. I guess just power. And Zelda doesn't trust this guy, even though the king seemingly does. And so they're kind of trying to plan ahead of him. She sends Link to find these like sacred stone things, and be like a step ahead of Ganondorf. But along the way, Link meets a couple different people from these places where he's getting these stones. And I gotta say, young Link here, builds up a little bit of a harem. If I'm gonna talk in like anime terms, there's a girl back home in like the tree village, whatever, who is pretty into him, that gives him this ocarina. And then there's Zelda, who also has an ocarina. And then there's he meets then one of the other princess characters or something like that. I forget her name, but she's the one that he gets the water stone. People are gonna kill me because it's definitely not called the water stone. But there's this other like fish girl, and she's really into him too. And in fact, she like refers to that ring as like an engagement kind of ring, sort of like tongue in cheek. But I think she sort of likes him. He's got some harem building skills early on in this. But basically, he gets these rings, but then circumstances happen where when he goes to get to get the power, get the sword thing, he gets knocked out for I think it's 7 years. He gets magically knocked out, and in those 7 years, of course, his body ages, and he wakes up a much older young man, like an adult, like a grown-up, which is astonishing to him because the people that are from his home village don't ever grow up. So this is further proof to him that he kind of felt like he didn't belong there to begin with in that first place. He was friends with everybody there and everything, but had a feeling that this wasn't really him. And it turns out that he wasn't. He's actually originally from Hyrule, I believe. So he ages like a normal elf person. So after these 7 years, his body is 7 years older. Don't ask me why his clothes still fit, but I guess I'm glad they do. We didn't have naked Link running around in here. But in that meantime, Ganondorf has, taken over a bunch of shit. And he's been doing a bunch of bad shit. And, it's up to Link to stop him. And the power of the elders within the sword entrust Link with this power to stop Ganondorf. And then the rest of it is this kind of cool adventure of Link sort of, chasing down Ganondorf, fighting Ganondorf's little minion kind of people. As far as art style, I think it's okay. I think it's how you would probably imagine a Zelda manga to be. There's little Link, and I think that the action sequences aren't super great. Everything is told in these kind of very small panels, and everything, like I said, it's pretty fast paced. So I would say that none of the fights in here really, besides maybe the last one with Ganondorf, none of the fights really have a sense of how do I put this? A sense of location. Whereas something in Vinland Saga, you get a good sort of feel for the battleground or wherever they are, right? You get a good sense of there's walls here, there's ground here. He's missing this, so the impact of the sword or the blade or whatever will do this. You don't really get that here. It's a lot of very, very quick fights that don't look bad. I like the character designs in here and everything. It's not a bad looking manga, but I just think that the action sequences could have looked better. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe if I'm trying to justify it, maybe they tried to make it more kid friendly and not so super focus on the action, but I'm not sure. You know, and you know, so the characters are okay. The art style is, you know, pretty good. I think Zelda fans will, like I said, will probably enjoy how this looks. I do think that they do a pretty good job of like being someone who's never played the game before, any of the games. I went into this and this feels like a pretty solid, complete story. In this one, I believe this is like an omnibus version. So, and I believe originally this was like two or three smaller volumes. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think that it was a solid journey. There's some sad moments in here for sure. And then it has a pretty good ending to wrap things up. But I would say it does go by pretty fast. It's a very fast read, and you know, I wasn't really impacted by any of like the serious stuff. Like at first, it was kind of like I had to, because it was almost like things were like I was reading through it pretty quickly, and then it sort of hit me as to like what things meant, just interactions with certain characters from Link's past and stuff like that. And because, you know, you don't really get a solid connection with any of the characters because it's told so quickly. You just kind of know that Link's a nice guy. This other girl is nice. Oh, there's this Zelda girl. She's cool. She's nice. Oh, there's this Sheik person who is very mysterious and pretty cool character design. And there's, you know, cool backstory to Sheik and stuff like that, which I guess I won't spoil here, but I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching this probably knows what Sheik is. And yeah, overall, pretty enjoyable story. I'm not regretting reading it at all. Does it make me want to read any more Zelda manga? No. It's this sort of like high, I don't know if it's high fantasy is the right term. This type of fantasy isn't really my thing. I'm not really into like the elves and the you know, fighting with swords in the woods and stuff like that. Unless it's like, I'm kind of biased unless it's like feudal Japan or something and there's like wild demons and shit. But it's pretty good. I could see certainly why people enjoy this. Does it make me want to play the video game? No. I already knew it's regarded as one of the best games of all time. So that was already pushing me to do it there. And if that didn't do it, then this wasn't really going to help all that much. But I think this is an enjoyable read. I think if you're a Zelda fan, you should definitely check this out. I think it'll probably bring up some like nostalgia for you, maybe if it's been a while since you did a playthrough of the game or something like that. And I'm pretty sure that there's other manga for some of the other games, and I believe most, if not all of them, are by this duo of Akira Himikawa. So if you have read the Zelda manga, Ocarina of Time, or any Zelda manga, let me know down below what you thought. Thanks again to J-Chip for recommending me this manga. If you like what I'm doing here, please hit that subscribe button down below. It means a whole lot to me. There's also a Patreon link in the description box, if you want to check that out as well. But thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. My name is Miasma, and I'll see you next time.